Hi, it's Tanya with Red Cardinal Crafts, and today I'm going to show you how to make this Valentine easel card, and the embellishments for this are available in my Etsy shop, and I have the link down below. So let's get started. Okay, so this is how we make the card. So you take a piece of cardstock, it's 12 inches by 6 inches across, and then what you're going to do is put on your scoreboard and you're going to score at 3 inches and 6 inches, and then that's it. You're going to bend up those folds, and so it's going to be like this, and this is going to be your easel, so it's going to stand up like that. So this 6 by 6 piece doesn't get touched. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of somewhat stiff paper. I just use cardstock, but that's going to go on this part of the card, and you're going to glue it just to this bottom section. So you're going to have it like this, and it's going to stand up. So you kind of want something that, you know, has some stability to it. And something also I always look at is what does the back of the paper look like, because that's, you know, going to be showing on the back there. So what you're going to do is take this piece of cardstock and you're just going to glue it to this part here. So I just put my glue on there, and don't go right to the edge because this piece of paper is smaller than this. It's small by 1/4 inch. You can go all the way to the top up here, but just don't go right to the edges on these 3 sides because the glue will show. So you go all the way to the top. In fact, definitely go along the top, and then it'll just hold your paper a little more secure up there. Then stick your cardstock on like that, and you can see that mine has just the bit of the beige showing going around the sides, and just make sure it's nice and secure. You can lay it flat if you want to press it down. Okay, so that pink piece of paper measured 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Then you're going to take, well, it's up to you. You can just leave it at that. And decorate this however you want, but I'm just going to take a piece of cardstock, and this cardstock measures 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. I always go in about 1/4 inch on the papers when I layer them like this, just so you can see an edge of the previous paper going around. So you're going to glue this onto here. You can see that you see the edge of the pink. It just gives it some more interest if there's some more layers going on there. Then I have a piece of black paper, and the reason I'm using black is because my embellishments are all outlined in black, so I just want to tie those in a little bit. So this piece measures 5 1/8 by 5 1/8. These are inches we're working in. And again, now you're going to see the edge of that pattern paper sticking out around it. And then finally one last piece of paper. And it just gives just some interest to the card. And this is going to be, actually I have this at 5 inches by 5 inches. I'm going to trim it just a little bit more to 4 7/8. I'm just coming over here to my trimmer, which is on the other side of the camera. And then you can just see a little bit more of the black on there in the same proportions as the other pieces of paper. So that's 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. And that goes on there like that. So that's just some February paper that I had. Then, this glue dries very quick, so make sure you have it straight. And then for the bottom half of the card, you're going to need something that's going to hold the easel up. So what I have here are my papers that are going to go on this bottom section, and they're going to be layered, and they're going to sit here. So I'll show you that in a second. So this piece here is 5 3/4 by 3. Then I have a piece of black paper, which is 5 1/2 by 2 3/4. Again, just size your paper so that it's going in by 1/4 inch each time. with both the length and the width. Then this piece here is going to be 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. And you don't have to use all these layers, it's just how I've designed this one, so it's totally up to you. And then I have this piece of cardstock which matches the base of the card, and this is 5 inches by 3 and, or sorry, 5 inches by 1 3/4. And you can ink your edges and whatever you want to do with it, it's totally up to you. This one, you can see that there's more of a gap up there and down there. I just didn't do it, I didn't, you know, layer it all completely, you know, 1/4 inch difference. I just did that just to have it stand out a little bit more. Now, to have this glued down and to have the easel stay a little bit better, what I use are the Zots. And these are the 3D Zots. You get a pack of 200. I don't know if the packaging is like this anymore, but these are the ones I use. And I just put one in each corner. These suckers are very sticky. The dimensions of these, does it say? Just the 3D. 1 1/2 inches by 1/8 inches thick. So they're 1/2 inch across. So I just do 1 Zot in each corner, like that. And then I do 2 in the middle. And just make sure you get your placement right where you want it. And again, this pink paper is shorter than this one, so there's going to be a little bit of the beige showing, which is what I want. And then just push on those Zots to stick it down. And now you'll see that it's raised up a little bit. So when you stand up, so your card will lay flat, but then when you stand it up, it stands behind this piece of cardstock because it's lifted, it's raised up a little bit, so it makes a bit of a you know, kind of groove area for the card to sit. So then you can embellish. Now this is the card design that I came up with, and these are the 2 sayings I did. I did Happy Valentine's Day for down here, or you can do I love you. Now I did both of them because this one, Happy Valentine's Day, you give that to a teacher or whatever, unless you really love your teacher. And then I did I love you in case you're giving it to someone a little more personal. And I have this little sign here, Happy Valentine's Day, and I created the tree with the heart. And again, I had I heart you on the tree, and I thought, again, maybe that's a little too personal depending on who you're giving the card to. So you could always go on with marker and just put I and then you underneath it. But I just did the little heart carved in the tree instead. So that's going to go on here. Now, one thing I like to do with my drawings when I cut them out is I take my marker. Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay, so what I do with my drawings when I cut them out from the printer, because they're cut out on white paper, I just go along with my Sharpie and just go over those white edges that are on the edge like that. It's safer to turn the picture upside down and go over it so that if you miss, you're just scribbling on the back of the black cardstock. I laid this down on black cardstock and then cut it out. So it's just safer if you trace like this so that if you scribble, no one will see it. But it just makes the edges nicer. It makes it nice and black so that no white parts are showing. Okay, so there's our tree. Might be a couple little white spots that you can just touch up with the marker. All right. So I'm going to do this bottom part first, and I'm just going to do Happy Valentine's Day. I just left a little space so you can write whatever sentiment you would like. Now for this, I took a piece of cardstock which measures 2 7/8 by 1 3/4, and I'm going to put this on there. And then I have a piece of black cardstock, and that's 3 1/8 by 1 7/8. And this is the measurements will work if you've printed out my item and you've cut right along the lines that were there. And then I have some of the hearts that are also included, and some I just left some white outline around it, and some of them I just trimmed right up to the black line, just to give a little bit of interest. You can overlap them, and has a little bit of white, gives a little bit of color interest to it. So my tree, I'm going to fit right on here like this, and to pop it up I'm going to do a few zots. I'm just going to see where my Valentine sign works and where I want it. I think I want it down below here, and I might actually have it running off the side a little bit. It gives a little bit of interest to the paper. And then I can bring the tree like that. So I'm going to glue this down first. I'm just putting it up from that bottom paper a little bit, just to bring some interest to that part of the card. And then with my tree, I'm actually going to use a few zots, just so it's brought out a little bit more. So let's see how many I have left here. Not many, they're stuck to the tube, so I'm going to use these if I can. It's a good thing I buy these in bulk. So you can lay the card down flat if you're trying to work. Just push on your zots. It brings the tree a little bit forward. And then I just have some of these hearts. So you can use all of them. You don't have to use all of them if you don't want to. And I'm just going to glue these just around the card in a few places, just to make it interesting. You can do some zots behind these as well if you want. You don't even have to use zots. You don't even have to use them for the tree. I do recommend them for this part though. Just brings it up a little bit more. Let me do my husband coming in the door. And do a little bit of a darker one down here. There you go. Like I said, there's some more here. You can add them to the bottom. You can add some more up here. You could also do one right on the tree if you wanted. So there you go. That's my Valentine easel card. So I hope you like it, and the embellishments for this are on my Etsy shop. Great. Thanks for watching. See ya.